Hey everyone. All right, we're back for another portfolio review where we will just go over either a portfolio of someone that's trying to become a developer or one of their portfolio projects. So let's dive right in. First things first, let's just go ahead and check out the speed and size of some of these static assets. Okay, slides. I like that slide animation. Um, what? Let me see. Okay. It's a little bit slow to load. You could probably optimize that image. It's not. There aren't really a variety of colors. I'm kind of curious if you ran your images through like something like Tiny JPG. Um, I would see if you could optimize that a little bit more. But overall, I think a lot of your static assets, they don't look too large. I'm kind of curious what you built this with. Okay. We're not going to dive into what's in here. But I'm assuming, because I see React, that you might have used some sort of framework. This is a little bit higher than I would expect, but not really if you're using a framework that eventually got bundled. I think overall, nothing really pops out here. So I think you're fine as far as static assets go. So let's actually take a look at the portfolio itself. Okay, so looks like you have your skills listed, and you have your projects right below that. It'd be nice if if I click on projects, it went straight to projects, and it does not. You have a contact as well, which is a separate page. I don't think, does this need to have its own page? I don't think it does. I think you could just probably toss the contact below the projects. It feels like you're trying to make the contact page. Like, they shouldn't have to scroll down to see all of your social media. Resume, LinkedIn, GitHub, Upwork, Dribble. Okay. I don't think you had to split that up. But that's not a big deal. I just tend to prefer when with as small of a portfolio as you have, I think there's more of an advantage of having that contact information, whether it's a form, whether it's an email, visible much sooner than having to go to a completely separate page. It just, to separate the projects and contact, it looks like you kind of just want to keep the same theme where you have the form up here and then you have your second or your extra content down here. You did that with skills and projects. At least you have the priority right, like leave a message, contact you, versus go to external resources. Like resume is, it could be nice supplemental information. I actually like that you didn't put all of your resume on the portfolio itself. Okay, it looks like you were just keeping the same template. I don't think there's anything really wrong with that. But one thing I noticed was your skills. This is a lot of skills, and if you really are efficient or sufficient with a lot of these skills, your portfolio should be much larger. And what I think you're doing is just stacking a lot of these skills to make yourself look better. Remember, so a lot of us, as we're trying to become a developer and figure out like what kind of programming do we want to do, what do we want to build, we will explore different languages, and I think that's very healthy that you have done that. But there's no emphasis on what you really know. I see all of this, and I see 10 years of experience. Yet when I look at your projects, This looks like an aspiring developer's portfolio. These look like pretty small applications. Zaner looks like a full website, just audio, YouTube channel statistics. Like, to me, you feel like an aspiring developer. I actually think your portfolio looks and feels clean. I'm not a big. Oh, cool. You did have text here. Okay, you're just expanding the entire div. Like, it looks really clean. I love how minimal it really is. I just think that you need to find a way to emphasize the skills that you really know, right? So think about standing out. Why do you stand out? First of all, a lot of positions, it's going to be nice that you have exposure to other languages, because I think that's always healthy for developers to have that exposure to different perspectives and different way of building things and solving problems. And that's what specific languages can help you explore. But you need to emphasize what you know. And I think that's important because every position is going to want you to probably know one or two of these skills better than the rest. And how do you attract those types of positions or those types of employers? You don't when your skills are scattered like this. Your projects don't really say what languages they were built in or what frameworks they were built in. That would be really healthy. So we do go into this. So the thing is, like, I don't even know that I can click on it. Like, I have a little bit of an idea because it expands, but I would actually go an extra step and just put a mouse cursor over this. So not the arrow. I don't know what the official name is, but just the gloved hand, that tells the user that they can't click on something. So at least for devices that support that, like desktop, that is a little bit more conventional, and it makes people feel they're used to it. They're comfortable with it. So what does next and back mean? Probably project, right? Okay, this isn't... So right here, I assumed that next meant like the next project. And I think people will often do that, and they'll have a gallery of projects where next would imply that you're going to the next project. So maybe figure out different wording for this. I love that you have this left aligned. It's much easier to read. I worked with a company building their upcoming products for their digital assets. Okay, cool. So you have your languages here. You've given some context. View on Instagram. Why? Why is there no live project? I would not assume an employer is going to have an Instagram here. I'm actually just going to click this. Well, actually, what I want to do is double check. Oh, okay, cool. So you open it in a new tab. But I would not assume... Why do you have it on Instagram? I would love to see a live link to this. There are two things I'd like to see. A live link so I could explore the website, if you can do that. Maybe Instagram is just kind of a backup where you have screenshots of the website. I suppose that's fine. And that's better than nothing. But I would also want to, let's say we assume that you, for whatever reason, cannot provide that live link. I would want a link to the source code. Chances are, I'm guessing, you've signed a contract that disallows you to do this, and that's kind of why you're restricted to just view on Instagram. So we're going to go into another one. Okay, this was an internship. UI and UX. I actually like the positions that you put here. Side project. Think of something better than that. Side project makes it seem like it delivered very little value. You probably gained a user base around it, right? I think side project tends to diminish the value when it's paired with, when this is like a UI and UX developer position. This is a front-end developer internship. I think these are going to have much more weight, and you might have put a lot of work into this. This could really be a full application that did provide a lot of value, and you need to show that. Firebase, nice. Let's see. Okay, so I love that you're providing more screenshots. View on website. I'm guessing that, cool. You're opening that in a new tab. This is a side project. At the very least, you should have a link to source control. So whether it's GitHub, GitLab, whatever source control that you choose, like I know you have a GitHub. I remember seeing that on the contact page. So link to the specific project here. Allow people that want to view that code and kind of just see where you're at technically. Allow them to have a link to visit that. What happens when you initially load it? Okay. Okay. I don't think I have anything more to say. I think the only thing this is lacking is source control links. On Instagram, built Chicago Hackathon. So a lot of projects aren't kept alive with hackathons. I hope yours still is, but you on website. Okay. So I really like that you put the skills or the libraries and languages that you use to build these. I actually like the project that you built labeled with the position that you held. I think this very, very quickly highlights that you've had real experience. But again, I'm not saying that you're lying about all of these skills, but I do think that you need to emphasize the skills that you know a little bit better. And I'm like, just judging from this portfolio, I think you can come up with a very minimalist and creative way to do that. But overall, color scheme looks good. It looks clean. Transitions are pretty fast. I think the contact thing is a preference thing for me, but I think it's completely fine how you have it. I would actually move that in a little bit faster. That's about it. This is a pretty minimal profile. This goes to homepage. Cool. I like it. And I do like if you're going to have this on a separate page, you get the template the exact same. So when the text disappeared and this transitioned in, it didn't feel jarring. It didn't feel like the page had jumped. There's entire sections had jumped. The information simply got refilled in. I like that. That feels smooth. Let's check out mobile. Let's just do a hard refresh for the fun of it. I think your projects have more emphasis than your skills do. This is where, like, can you click on it? No. I mean, it enlarges. Why? Why does it enlarge? What is the benefit of that? It doesn't give any extra context. It just looks pretty. I don't believe in providing pretty upgrades to it's not even functionality, but I don't believe in providing cosmetic for cosmetic's sake. I think cosmetic additions and transitions should be added to provide and enhance content. Usually provide more content, more relevant content. This just makes it colorful. So I don't think it's very effective at doing anything. Okay, looks pretty clean. I actually want to see the modal. Looks pretty clean. You have a lot of text. I love the padding. I love the spacing. This doesn't really look like a link, does it? I've had designers and UX go back and forth, but like, should we underline a link? Should we not underline a link? And all the different context of like when you should underline it, when you shouldn't. I think even like different design and UX are going to have their own personal preferences with that. But I do think whether you put an underline, whether you underline this or not, this needs to look more like a link. And an underline probably a little with a little bit more space from this header text, which is actually kind of small. I think I would actually just toss an underline out of this just to show that it's a link. Even like maybe an icon next to the text that shows that it's a link. I think, didn't you do that with your contact? Not really. Yeah, you kind of did, right? It was kind of a button. If I click on this, okay. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the navigation. Navigation is very clean. I don't think you need the underlines for the navigation links. I do feel like you pair links a little bit too closely with the header itself. And I think that's, if you're not going to use the underline, that's kind of what makes it feel like they're not links. What else? I don't think I have anything else to say about this. I think overall, I like the color scheme. I like how simple it is. I very rarely give this advice, but I would actually add more content to your portfolio. I don't think this says anything about you. Are you willing to put a personal picture on here? A personal professional picture on here? Or even just like a picture that shows enthusiasm and that you're fun and people want to talk to you? Like, you don't have to include a picture, but that is usually a kind of a trusting strategy, or a strategy that you can use to build trust with the user very quickly. But I think you need to share more about yourself. There are no blog posts. I don't know what you're like. I think adding a blog, if you do like writing and talking about your growth as a developer and things that you're building, is healthy. But I think some sort of exposure to who you are and what makes you unique and what makes a company feel like that you're going to integrate well into their company culture, right? Like, they need to get to know you more, and this doesn't tell me a lot about you specifically, not you as a developer, but you as the person, the human being. And that's where a minimal layout like this can it can lack a lot of context that makes a portfolio unique without like a mini about me section, or even just like what you love doing, some of your accomplishments. Maybe you've done a tech talk before. I think exposing more of you as a human being to companies is going to be a huge strength, and I think you should add it to this portfolio. And you don't have to do it in a big way. You don't need this big about me section, but I'm going to leave that to you to kind of figure out what you want to do with that. Yeah, that's it. I think it looks really good. Like I said, color scheme's really good. Spacing overall is really good. I think the links are questionable, mainly in the modal. But overall, this looks really good and clean. I like it. And I think you're off to a really, really good start with the portfolio. All right, that's it. If you guys like this kind of video, go ahead and like the video. That lets me know to do more videos of this type. If you have a question or you have your own perspective on it, leave a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And if you want me to do a portfolio for your own portfolio or even a specific portfolio project, just tweet at me at DeveloperDonTV. All right. Have a good night.